Alright, I'm Sadie Meyer.
I'm Nico Sanders.
I'm Davenn Robinson.
Today we have chosen to do our TED Talk over why marriage is worth the wait. We have about 5 to 6 different things we're going to touch on, like as why do people marry young and why do people who marry young divorce sooner, how it affects you mentally when you go through divorce, the statistics because we need actual numbers to back up all of our evidence and psychologist evidence. We also put in when is the right time to marry because that's a very good thing to know. So we're going to start off with why do people marry young?
Okay, so why exactly do people marry young? In certain instances, marriage can be a very complicated thing, whether that be very time consuming, it takes up a lot of money sometimes, a lot of time to spend with the other spouse or other partner. There's just a lot of other things that go into it, and also whether that be you having kids, getting a house, getting cars, putting your kids in school. So just all these things build up, and starting young at that age, teenage and young adult, can be very stressful and very hard, whether that be for male or female in certain instances. And one way that they could get married young is due to religion. In some religions, they require the male and female to only have sex after marriage, and so some people decide to have sex before they get married. Another reason could be through their school, their high school, or their college. They may think it's a race or a challenge to kind of get to adulthood quicker, try to, build up those responsibilities quicker. And that may happen just because, they feel like they have nothing else to do, or they feel like I can't go through school, or I can't do any of this, so they say, marriage is the best option. And that may not always be the case. Marriage is not for everyone that's young, and
Marriage shouldn't be a status quo. It shouldn't be, a Facebook status. Like, marriage is a real thing. You don't need to get married and get a house, start a family, have babies, all for the social recognition. You have to realize that this is real life and this is your life. You're gonna be affected by this. You're gonna have to spend the rest of your life with this person because you have given your life to them and you said it, in front of God, to death do y'all part. It always, a lot of kids love attention. They love the likes. They love all of that. That's kind of where we're at. And that has a big part to do with social media because, social media. And there's always a pressure to get through life. I want to get married. I want to get through my life. I want to get to this part already where I'm so in love and I know what I'm doing with my life. When that's not the case. So the next part we're talking about is why do people who marry young divorce sooner? Like, what are all the reasons for that?
A lot of people have a false sense of what love really is. Everybody wants to just jump into marriage. Like, they don't understand how big of a commitment marriage really is. They don't understand that marriage is really a bond. It connects to people for the rest of their lives. And it's like, a lot of religion is to hold it back. The two people made to each other, mind, body, and spirit. Young people who believe they are in love don't really understand what love is. They don't know the struggle and fights you have. You get caught up in false hope and the social expectations. Young people, they love attention. Everybody wants to get married first. Everybody wants to have a baby. People don't really take that much time to get to know each other, develop, interests, just spend time with each other. Everybody just jumps into what they call love.
And on top of that, when you're young, you don't know who you are. You're still developing yourself. You still, you're still learning who you are, what you want to be, who you want to be, where you want to be in your life, And you also feel that when you're needed by someone, you like that, especially if you've gone through, things in your childhood that, made you feel isolated and alone. The fact that someone feels like you are needed to complete someone, that may give you a sense of, incompleteness. Kids tend to go too fast, fall too hard, think after a year they know this person, but the truth is, like I said, people change. We don't know who we are. We are still developing every single day. They don't know everything that goes in the marriages, the fights, the arguments, the trust you have to have in someone, like it's not an easy thing. You are constantly having to, make this person feel like you want them and that you want this marriage.
Mentally, a divorce is a great impact on a person. You can experience, feelings of depression, feeling lost, financial issues. People feel lost when they get in a divorce because they feel like they've lost a big part of who they are. After you spend years with one person, you tend to, rely on them for certain things. They make you feel good. They make you happy. You want to see them.
And then on top of that, divorce is not an easy thing. Regardless if you're the one who wanted it or didn't want it, either way is going to impact you because you are still going through that. You are still losing that one person you have built your whole life around. It affects everyone due to different circumstances, due to why y'all got divorced or, all that different stuff. But as we were going through the research and, reading these articles, these 6 always seem to, keep popping up, just like popcorn. So, we're going to elaborate on that. Depression, like, you feel sad.
A lot of people get very sad after divorce because, like I said, they lost a big part of who they thought they were. And it's a very impacting thing to go through. A lot of people's self-esteem is bothered after divorce because a lot of people feel like they aren't good enough. They feel like something they did caused this person not to, like them anymore. They feel like the love they once had, they lost it because something that they did. And they feel like they weren't good enough. And that's what a person does.
And then when you have kids, that's going to open a whole different can of worms because, you're going to make your kids also feel all these different types of ways that you are. Maybe not the financial issues, but they're going to feel lost. They're going to feel sad. They're going to have anxiety. They may even have self-esteem issues because, what if, you divorce their dad because you say you hate them, and what if your son is just like, your ex-husband? Then they're going to be like, okay, well, all these things go into it, and you never really know the effect you have on kids when you divorce. So they also go through all the mental issues.
Divorce is very hard on kids because they grow up in a household where the parents are always fighting. It's not in a very loving environment. They try to go sleep at night. They hear their parents fighting. And people, they get stressed during a divorce because depending on who it is, a single mother who's raising kids, she has a bunch of financial issues she has to take care of on her own, no help from the father. Raising kids by herself, she has all that burden and those responsibilities. And anxiety, a lot of mothers, they after I read something in a blog one day, it said mothers feel scared to let their kids down. They're trying to be a role model. They want their kids to, look up to them and see them as a person. Okay, my mom didn't raise me to be like this. She's a role model. I'm trying to be like her and try to adhere to the things that she said.
All right, next we're going to give y'all the statistics because this isn't, the psychologists think this isn't us speaking, this isn't our opinions, these are straight facts.
So after about 5 years of marriage, couples married as teens tend to have a 38% chance risk of divorce. And those in their early 20s are also highly vulnerable, which is about 27% divorce rate. And then it declines more when you get to the 25 to 29 age, and then even more as you get 30 to 34. And that just goes to show you that even as the rise of your age and all that, the rate may change. It shows you how high the rate is as teens, and for the mental state or the physical state of any of those teens, it could just lead to divorce.
And then our next topic is, when is the right time to marry? We're giving you all these reasons why not to marry young and this and that. So you're probably like, well, dang, if I can't decide, well, when should I get married? So here's are some, reasons why the right time to marry is in your 30s.
Studies suggest that people who get married later on in life have better relationships. Older people are more financially stable. They know what they want. They have their lives planned out. They know who they are, and they're more mature. I say that because more mature as in they've been through, a lot of experiences. They understand things they did that wasn't right. They learned from their mistakes, what most people have, and they try to, just have a better future and, just be progressive and be successful in their everyday endeavors. Most older people have their lives planned out already. Most people have already graduated college. They've already, been through all their studies. They have a good job, a career. They're making, a good amount of money. Buying houses, mortgages, they're paying bills, and they're more responsible. They don't have time, just be playing around, just doing things that aren't progressive when, they have bills to pay.
They're also most likely financially stable. In your 30s, you're most likely have your job that, you've already set your retirement plan out to. They also, they know who they are. As teens, like I said, you don't know who you are. You're still developing. Usually by 30, you know who you are because you've gone through all of your hardships and, you have your life set out now. You probably have a place to live. You're paying for it all on your own. And, that's usually when you're ready to settle down. You want that type of closure because, time's running up. Time don't wait on nobody. Also, to elaborate on more mature, that also comes from you have more experience when it comes to relationships. You're 30. You may have had one night stands. You've had, long-term relationships. You've had that college love that you thought you were gonna marry. So you have all these things, and you know what you want in a person, and you know what someone doesn't want in you. All your mess ups. All of their mess ups. So you know what you're looking for. You know what you want. And then to conclude it out, through this TED Talk, we're not saying that, everyone who marries young is going to divorce, but to be realistic, all those Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram videos you see of these old people saying, oh, my high school sweetheart, all of this, that's rare. That's very, very rare. You don't need to, try to build your life on that and try to, do the same thing that everyone else is doing just because of it. Obviously, we didn't just give you our opinions or all of these things. We gave you the straight up facts. All of the 38%, that's not even including, all the different hardships you will go through that could cause divorce. There's no need to rush. If you're with the right person and, y'all are dating, y'all will stay together to get married. If it's not the right person, obviously God has separated y'all for a reason. So just stay together, wait until you are mature enough and make sure it's really what you want, because there's so many things that go into marriage that, are very hard.
People getting married younger on in their lives, they don't always end bad. Not every relationship that people start in their 20s ends in divorce. There are some cases where people who, they met high school, middle school, they're still married, they're still together. And it's just, but those relationships are very rare. Most relationships end bad for young people because, there's temptation. People, they'll feel like I got married too soon. I didn't get to experience life. I didn't get to see this, see that, and they'll feel like, they can still live like that. But if you're married, there's a commitment that you have to a significant other. You can't put yourself in bad situations that could potentially jeopardize your relationship and your commitment to that other person.
And if you're already married, at a young age, we're not saying, your marriage is going to end. We're not trying to convey that kind of message, but we just want to give, a little bit of better insight for people who are confused on when they should get married, who they should marry. So we hope that this helps. Again, I'm Sadie.
I'm Nico.
And I'm Davenn.
And that is our TED Talk.